Beautiful, beautiful. Looks like we are alive. So, just taking a moment to share this message out quickly, and then I am going to dive right into the message for whomever shows up. This will be live on the page and on my YouTube, but truth be told, I have a message from Spirit that's been sitting with me, sitting in my heart. So I needed to take some time to jump on, film this, get this on video, and I figure why not just do it as a live stream, connect with my peoples, and then we can go from there. So just taking a moment, I'm going to share this out very briefly, and then we are going to dive right on in. Just share this in my group. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Thank you all for joining. If you can take a moment, just share out for me briefly. I'm sharing to a couple of quick groups just before I dive right into the message, but I definitely want to connect with everybody who has popped on, as I am feeling very connected with spirit, with the energies, and I definitely have some messages to share for the collective at this time. And so before I get on in, I just want to make sure I get the message out there. So if you can, again, share this out. And then we're going to dive on in and have some fun with the message. Okay. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Awesome. All right. So looks good to go. We are live here on our end. So as per usual, it's your boy Zay-P, Zay-P that I am. I am that I am, as you are that you are, for we are all that we are. From the individual to the many, from the many comes the all, and the all is one. And so your boy's back at it, back with a brand new video. I'm really diving in today basically because I've been feeling a lot of stuff going on in the collective energies. And so Spirit has been sitting with me this past week, helping me to deal with some of my own personal issues, helping me to deal with some of my own personal dramas, family dramas, things that I've been working on resolving this past week. And the energy that's been hitting me is that what I've been going through, as alone as I've been feeling, as dejected, as just how much of a burden I've been feeling under, the weight of the world, how we place that weight of the world on our shoulders. Um, I'm not alone. It's not just me. Collectively speaking, there's so many of us right now that's out there that's really just under duress, under stress, feeling this weight of the world on our shoulders. We're not alone, and we have to recognize that we are not alone, that we are actually, in fact, part of a community. We're part of a communion. The overall idea being that we are ultimately all one. So many of us are feeling these same experiences. Lokani, sis, it's good to see you. It is good to see you. Everybody who's here, please feel free to share out. Again, I'm diving in with the messages. Um, and so the I am and my higher self have been coming with me just to kind of help me get through some difficult things, as I was saying. And what I've been experiencing is that as the collective has been really going through a lot of transitions. There's a lot of ebb and flow that's happening right now, energetically. A lot of us feel like we should be on kind of the downward slope after the last year and a half, dealing with whether it's coronavirus, racial, outlashes, pedophilia, human trafficking. I mean, all sorts of crazy stuff has been happening over the last year and a half, 2 years. And so it really, you would think that we should be on that tail end and we should be coming down and things are going to be tapering off and getting easier. But what Spirit has been giving me recently is that things are actually going to be picking up for us individually in our own personal experiences. See, everything that we've gone through this past year tends to leave collateral damage. It tends to have had its effects. It's affected family members, it's affected businesses, it's affected all these different levels. Phyllis, Tamara, it's good to see you. And so with that, with everything that we've been through, there's a lot to unfold in the aftermath. There's a lot that's going to be coming forth, and a lot of things are moving energetically in the collective because so many people have been doing shadow works, because so many people have been really just kind of digging in and dealing with their stuff. A lot of stuff has risen to be surfaced to be dealt with. Then there's collateral effects, the after effects of the storms that we've just been through. And so for a lot of us personally, we're going to be feeling like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. There are many of us who may be experiencing health issues. Those things are kind of rising to the forefront, rising to the surface, complications and such. Many of us have to step into caretaking roles and things of that nature. A lot of the stresses that we had an opportunity to put down for a moment, to put to the side, all of those are coming due. People are really at the place where you know all of the rent freezes and things of that nature are picking back up. We see inflation already starting to rise, and so a lot of people are going to be experiencing the backlash of everything we just came through. And while we think collectively we've been through kind of a shitstorm collectively, right now we're in a phase where individually so many of us is experiencing a lot of heaviness, right? When I'm doing this, I'm not raising the roof, I'm just talking about that weight of the world on your shoulders. And so while I was going through my personal week dealing with my father, my aging elderly father, who has been diminishing rapidly these past few months, um, I've had to kind of take some solitude, take some solace within, really connect with spirit, really connect with the I am. And the messages that I have been giving of love and support from the other side are coming through, not just for me, but for me to share with you all, for me to share with the collective. And really, the ultimate point of this particular message is really the idea of letting go and letting God. We talk about this a lot, we hear about this a lot, and it really is one of those things that's easier said than done, right? We always talk about, oh, just let go, let God, and that sounds so easy. Even when we look at Eastern principles, they talk about detachment and unattachment, but that can be very hard, especially if you live in a modern lifestyle. We're attached to things, we're attached to people. We get comfortable, we get set in our moods and ways, and where we're at now with all of the pressure that's on us coming through the aftermath of the storm, it really leaves us open to change. Change is super uncomfortable as it is. We're dealing with just the uprising of energies, the shift in a lot of ways. And so while we might feel alone in our personal individual struggles, we are not alone because we are all experiencing such difficulties. If you're tuning into this message now at any point, the reason why this is a current energy report is in the sense that wherever you're at and you're tuning into this message, it is for that reason. It's appropriate for where you stand now. And so if you are having these kind of difficulties in your individual life, the message that's really coming through right now from the divine is letting go and letting God. And it's really sitting in this place of allowance and trust in life and in the divine. And this is very, very easy to say, right? Like, it's so easy to just say, allow, fall back, just trust, just loosen your grips, lessen the need to control things. And I think, especially here in the West, we really get this huge hook in what we're experiencing, and this huge idea that it's up to us to create it how we want it to be. It's up to us to make what we want to see in this world, right? However, when we're going through these tough times, sometimes the best action is really to just show up and be our best selves, and then trust that God's got the rest. Trust that the divine has the rest. If you're showing up day to day, if you can let go of control, let go of the need to control how it looks, let go of even your own personal desires, your own personal attachments to what you want happen. Because the reason why we're struggling is because we see the worst case scenarios, or we see things happening that we don't want, and we want to fight against that. We want to resist all of that. And that's natural. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's adding just more pressure, more resistance, more stress and burden. And that's what's making things almost unbearable. It's making it seem like you almost something is going to break. And more times than not, it feels like it's us that is going to break, right? Even though we are much more resilient and stronger than we may know, more than we even give ourselves acknowledgments. If you look back over the course of your life, living a life, any prolonged period of time, you have gone through situations and difficulties that at one point or another you would believe you were not capable of until you got through them. And this is no different. The only thing here is that we're really encouraged to allow ourselves to trust in the divine and really let the divine show up for us. Things will not play out in the way that we want. Things may play out in ways that's painful, in ways that's difficult, in ways that we can only see the worst case scenario of right here in this present moment. And that's okay. Life is not always perfect. And the fact of the matter is the pendulum always swings. What is bad will once again become good. What is good will once again become bad. But these tough times are transient if we can hold on. And so Spirit has really been coming through to let me know that we are supported by the divine, but we have to allow ourselves to trust. We have to allow ourselves to fall back into God's loving embrace. And we do that simply by showing up. Trusting in the divine, there's an aspect of that which is trusting in yourself. And it is not trusting in yourself to figure it all out right now, to project into the future, create anxiety for yourself. It's not, we're not talking about that. What I'm talking about is that if you trust yourself, your intentions are good. If your intentions are towards your own highest good, if your intentions are towards creating something positive in your life or the lives around others, well then, as long as you're sticking true to your intentions, just showing up day to day, giving your best effort is enough. Sometimes that's all we can do. That's all we can muster. And we don't need you. We may not even be able to predict or see if it's possible. Like, I don't know if I can show up tomorrow. I honestly don't know. All I know is that I'm here right now. And the more I think about tomorrow, the more I get stressed, I overwhelmed, anxious, the more I just feel like I want to break down. And so in that moment, I got to rely on the divine that's within, and that greater harmony that is the collective. Everything will fall into place if we allow it. If we stop trying to wrestle control of everything and needing things to turn out the way we want them to, then things will turn out in a way that's best for all involved. Simply showing up in our best selves, giving our best effort moment to moment and letting it be is sometimes the best thing and the only thing we can really do when we are at a place where control and the big picture and common sense is just stripped out of our hands. And this is where we're at right now. With the current influxes that's happening, the rising Schumann resonance, all of the aftermath from the last year and a half, 2 years, it's hitting the collective. But all of this time, these have been kind of collective uprisings, and we've all had our own little pockets. But it feels like right now, individually, we're all going to be feeling this individual need for our intention. Things in our lives are calling to us saying, hey, we need you here. The pressure's on. You got to show up and you got to figure this all out, however that might look. But you don't have to mistake it to think that you're alone going through this. This is the actual collective effort. We're all doing our own parts to kind of help uplift, to kind of get us through collectively, but it's all happening in our own individual plates. What that means is that we're showing up in our own lives for ourselves, for our families, for our personal responsibilities. And although that might seem selfish in a sense, sometimes that's what's required in the most selfless of ways. When we can just show up moment to moment, day to day, and not need to control the outcome, but just continue to kind of give our the best of ourselves, everything will fall into place. But it's just trusting that divine, trusting that things will work out, and the allowance of it. And so this message really has been coming through of when you feel that you might break, when you don't know how you're going to get through to the next moment, how you're going to make it past whatever this particular turmoil is, when you feel like you want to give up, but give up control. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up your life, right? Give up the need to control it all. If you can give that up and allow God, allow the divine to take that off your hands, the world becomes so much more manageable. Because then all you have to do is focus on showing up in the here and now moment the best you can and allowing everything else to fall into place. I don't know what's going to happen to my father. I don't know if he's going to end up in a nursing home. I don't know if he's going to die. I don't I don't know. I see reflections of my relationship with him played out in my relationship with my son. I see his health and how that's diminishing and how well he's taken out. I see reflections of that in my own health and personal well-being. How well am I taking care of myself, of my own conditions? And as overwhelmed as I have been, and as much of a struggle as this has all been, to kind of see somebody who I idolized at a time, who was my own personal Superman in a sense, really become more diminished, and really seeing myself have to step up to be his caretaker, whereas he's always been the one to be a caretaker for me. The fears come. Is he gonna die? Do I have to put him in a nursing home? Do I have to figure out power of attorney, this, that, and the third, funeral arrangements, healthcare proxies? I got to get him social workers and home services and nurses and this, that, and the third. How do I do that and have a family and, raise my son and take care of my health and deal with my sickle cell and manage a business and do all of these things? And it all sounds like I want to freaking die. It feels like I'm drowning when I'm looking at all of it. And to the point where I almost want to quit. I almost want to step back and just walk away from it all. But I can't. So what can I do? I can let go of control. I can let go of control and I can trust the process. I can trust in the divine, because that's all I can do. That's all any of us can do. Continue showing up, being your best self moment to moment, and trust and allow the divine to do what it's doing. Because even the painful things that may flow out of this, they're going to be needed. These transitions, these transits that we are going through currently, individually and overall in the collective, it's needed. It's part of the process. It's part of the evolution of life as it is, life as we know it. Some of us may go through losses and may go through mourning. Many of us may go through all sorts of different changes, whether it's changing of residences, changes of job, changes of our status in life, changes of just all sorts of things. We can't always control all of that. And so sometimes the best thing you can do is to allow it and to trust in the divine and to just keep showing up as your best self. So that's the message that's really been coming through, and it's been sitting on my heart. And I feel all of this weight, the weight of the world in our heart that is going on right now. And so I do want to offer a little bit of a light language, energetic healing for everybody here. I appreciate you all coming through and hanging out and just sharing your input. Selena, Jenny, Lorna, I see y'all. I see the comments. Deborah, yes, one of the hardest things is losing somebody here on earth. That is true. Um, However, to lose a person in the physical is not to lose the essence of that person, right? And so if we can just trust the process and go through the process and deal with it day to day, moment to moment, instead of assuming the big picture, we'll be able to even deal with those losses. And hopefully, through the process, we will find that those relationships don't end, but they've only transitioned, they've only transmuted, they've only changed. So, I am feeling some light language, so I'm going to let that flow. And for all those who are still here, please feel free to share out. Please feel free to just sit back, receive the love, receive the energy. I appreciate all those who shot me a little donation and who have supported me in the recent weeks as things have been kind of hectic for me, but I've seen a lot of support come through when I have shown up and been here. So thank you all. Sana mai te pere wa koi ana paparua na tava. Sua ia kamania toro la te aka i onuawa. Sua ia karoa na to via via kania hao. Sua tia na kawaya to wawa ia ia na kaya ta. Sa kamawa stura ia tua ia wana ia wamaya. Ewakara na waria tabia pa waya ka awa. Anawia kavia tabaya nanataria. Awaya kanabas taralawaya tabaya. So what I see is the earth changing, it's growing, it's shifting in dimensions. But what's happening is that as it's shifting and as it's growing, we are being forced to shift right along with it. We have to shift. We have to shift to stay in alignment with the realm in which we live. And so this forced shift is acting almost like little earthquakes beneath our individual feet. It's just like tectonic plates shifting. And we're adjusting and we're adapting. And with everything that has transitioned and transpired, all of this has been the evolution of the earth, of Gaia. It's also the evolution of mankind. And it is hard to evolve, to change when we know that some people are going through these struggles. Some people may be transiting out and others are transiting in. And we're standing on the shores of uncertainty. But even standing on the shores of uncertainty, you can always be certain in the divine. You can always be certain of the divine in you and of your ability to be present and be your best self that you can muster at any given moment. And that's not to say always be at 100%. Sometimes your best self is pretty low functioning, and that is okay. We meet that with forgiveness, with compassion, with love. It doesn't matter. As long as you are continuing to make that effort, you will be okay. The shores of uncertainty cannot stop a swimmer from swimming, and you will always be able to swim in the divine. And so understand this is just evolution and take your time going through it. Meet yourself with compassion, meet your loved ones with compassion. Allow and accept the things that you cannot, the things that are just out of your control. The serenity prayer, these things are here for you as tools. These are offerings to the collective for us to be able to walk through life with grace. So this message comes to you all at this time as reassurance that you're not alone, that the divine is in support of you, that the divine is guiding you. Trust in your highest intention and just show up in the moments best that you can. And that's enough. Let go. Let God. The pendulum always swings. This too shall pass. Haya tatana waya baya koranyatia yuaya tataya kuania yarovai. Oananda pawanya kaya waya tata wai karnwala waya wayo yuaki. Yuaya waya wanaya waya. Swaya kanwaya waiti. Okay, so that was the message that I was feeling that I really wanted to bring in and connect with today. I see you all in Tina, Nesha. Good to see you all. Hopefully that message is resonating with y'all. Please continue to share this out as it's a timeless message, and this is not about live readings or anything like that. So if you share this out, the message will resonate with those it's meant to, and bring some solace to those that need it. Bernadette, thank you. I appreciate the fact that you empathize. I am well, though. I am blessed, and I know that the divine is with me. And I'm just here to remind y'all and let y'all know that the divine is with you. And so, with that, I shall take my leave. I'm thinking about maybe popping on later today and just doing some fun card readings. If anybody's around, if y'all interested in that, feel free to let me know. Um, I appreciate you. I appreciate the love. Oh, Tamara, thank you. Phyllis, beautiful to see you all. Sending so much love to all of you. Peace and blessings. I'm out.